We back.
Yeah.
It's 2024.
You know what time it is.
Headlines with Robert Littal.
The Headline King.
Best media rapper alive.
That's right.
Yeah, I got something for you.
That heat. I got that heat for you.
That heat.
Yeah.
It's a new year, but have no fear. Rob is still kicking. Brand new headlines all up in your ear. Word to Craig Mack. Sit back and relax and defer your opinions like Otani's tax. I dodge her attacks. You can't cancel me. I collect a service fee on the block like TMZ with my New York Post. So much power in these streets, they calling me ghost. So let's have a toast to the Headline King. You know my ride and my queen used to be Alexis. Then we got that Panamera so the world can catch us. They just bless us. No shade room, no Aaron Rodgers shrooms or Big Perk buffoon. Just Rob on the Zoom, calling out the coon. So please stay tuned. BSO will never fold. My chips are all in and I'm standing tall because I know all your signs. Jim Harbaugh. His headlines with Robert Littal. I'm going to pat myself on the back to start this off because I've had over the past few days a very cordial discussion on social media. Do you know how difficult it is in 2024 to have a rational discussion about any topic on social media these days? But I did it. I was talking about Caitlyn Clark, CC, White Iverson, and if she should declare for the WNBA draft or stay at Iowa for another year. This all came about when I saw that a former WNBA MVP, former NCAA champion, former WNBA champion took a non-guaranteed lowball deal to go to a team. And I said, CC, you need to stay at Iowa for as long as possible. People disagreed with me. Some agreed, some disagreed, and that's okay. Some said, Rob, you don't understand. She's a game changer. These endorsements that she has with the NIL is going to cross over to the WNBA. She's going to change the game. So she should go to the WNBA. And I listened because we were having a cordial discussion. Then I laid out my case, which is what I'm going to do for you right now. You still may disagree, but sometimes I think on social media, especially Twitter, when you have only so many characters to explain yourself, things get lost in the translation. First off, to the person that said I didn't understand how endorsements and everything works, I do understand that Caitlyn Clark, when she initially goes into the WNBA, all of her endorsements that she has, depending on the length of those contracts, are going to go with her. I do understand as soon as she goes into the WNBA, she may be able to ink even more endorsement contracts, maybe have her own shoe deal or whatever it may be. So I do understand that once she goes pro, there are going to be opportunities for her to make money, especially because nobody gets paid in the WNBA. That's a fact. We can look it up, but we don't have to because we know that they don't get paid a lot of money, and that is the reason that a lot of them have to go overseas and do other things to make a living. Most WNBA players, especially young ones that are coming into the league, get paid less than the Walmart manager, get paid less than the BP gas station manager. We know that as factual information, okay? But I understand. She's hot. She's getting into the WNBA. She will continue to get endorsements when she gets into the WNBA. Now, let me tell you why that actually only strengthens my argument. That's going to be there regardless, right? What's not going to be there is that right now, Caitlyn Clark is the most famous college basketball player in the world. And I'm not just talking about women's basketball, I'm talking about men's basketball too. There is not a more popular college basketball player in the world than Caitlyn Clark right now. There's not a college basketball player in the world that has lines of people waiting for them 6 hours before the game, as if people were waiting to see Michael Jackson or something.
Someone is at the front door.
Someone's at the front door, but they're going to have to wait because I'm in the middle of a rant here. That Alexa is kind of scary. No one in college basketball right now, every time that they play on the road, breaks an attendance record. No one in college or pro basketball has a camera that's dedicated to them on the ticks and the talks. No one has as much attention as them in college basketball right now than Caitlyn Clark, CC, White Iverson. Now, when you're at the top of anything, when you're number one at anything, you want to hold on to that number one spot as long as you possibly can. You want to be the best of the best, whatever that is, as long as you can stretch it out. No matter what you got going on in the future, you have to think about the present. In the present time right now, we know that Caitlyn Clark, and I've watched her play. This is not just me looking at highlights. We know that Caitlyn Clark is the most electrifying women's college basketball player in the country. When she's on, it's like watching Steph or LeBron or Jokic. I'm turning the channel. Oh, CC playing? Let me turn the channel. Steph playing? Let me turn the channel. It's only a very few. Mahomes playing? Let me turn the channel. It's only a very few amount of players that are like that. And that will carry over 100% into next season. I hit my microphone. We just going to keep going. It's going to carry over 100%. And remember what I said just a little while ago. When she goes to the WNBA, she's going to be able to, of course, get this and get, you know what's going to happen? She's still going to be able to get that next year at Iowa, if not more. There's going to be more sponsors. There's going to be more endorsements. There's going to be more NIL. But you know why? Because she's the hottest thing right now in college sports. And that's a fact. That's a guarantee. And that's going to carry over, regardless of what she does. So if she stays at Iowa, it's guaranteed. Your number one spot is guaranteed for at least another year. Not to mention that gives you another year to potentially win a national championship, will just make your stuff even skyrocket even more. Maybe even Jay Williams will call you great. So everything that you can do by going into the WNBA next season, you can do at Iowa, but the big difference is at Iowa, you're going to be the number one star. You're going to be the number one attraction. You're going to have your CC cam. You're going to have 15,000 people trying to see you every game. You're going to sell out. You don't get primetime college. When March Madness came, oh my God. They're going to have you. The ratings are going to be through the roof. Don't let her get to the Final Four again. They're going to be through the roof because she's a hero and a villain. She got both things going on at the same time. She's like The Rock. She's like The Rock when he turned heel. The hero and the villain at the same time. The most electrifying woman in women's basketball. But if she does go to the WNBA, hypothetically speaking, at the beginning, yes. There's going to be a lot of attention. There's going to be a lot of things. When she plays her first WNBA game, it'll be sold out. ESPN or ABC will do the game. But what happens to that electricity when you just become part of the pros? You just become part of what the WNBA has always been doing. Because we've seen a lot of stars come from college and they come to the WNBA, and don't get me wrong, they're still good. They're champions, they're all-stars. But you don't really hear about them the same way you did when they was in college. Remember Skylar Diggins? Yeah, you probably do. But you remember when she was at Notre Dame, right? When Drake was making lyrics about her? And everybody talked about her every day. Skylar Diggins, Skylar Diggins. She was hot. She was on top. She went to the WNBA. Still very good. Very good player. But if I went and asked 100 people right now, what team does Skylar Diggins play for in the WNBA? Maybe 10 knows. Not saying Caitlyn Clark won't kill it in the WNBA. But just the way the things are, I dropped my water bottle, but we're going to keep going. Just the way that things are, I can't say that she is going to be number one. Is she going to be the number one attraction anymore? Is she going to get the exposure that she's getting right now? Right now, a day doesn't go by when I don't see some doing something with her. A day doesn't go by. Is that going to happen in the middle of the summer, game 13 in the WNBA? Is someone, are they going to sell out an arena, game 23 at the WNBA just to see Caitlyn Clark? Is she going to have the same type of exposure? And here's what happens over time. As the exposure goes down, so does the endorsements. Exposure goes down, so does the endorsements. So year one could be great, and maybe even year two. But year three, year four, exposure goes down, endorsements start to go down. Meaning that you want to maximize the time that you're at the top, the time that you're number one. You can make right now 5 times, 10 times, 20 times more in college than you can in the WNBA. Your exposure is going to be at the highest levels that it will ever be this year and next year. History shows us that. I'm not just saying that. History shows us that her exposure, and I went and looked at the Google searches of certain college players or when they were in college, and then when they went to this is it. This is the highest that she's going to be. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that she's going to fade away. I'm not saying she's going to be trash. I'm not saying nobody's going to watch. I'm not saying any of that. All I'm saying are facts. These are facts. Her exposure at the college level is going to be higher at this point in her life than it will ever be in the WNBA. And you have to take advantage of that while you can, because there's no rush. The reason that most men's basketball players, football players, whatever it may be, they leave college early is for a twofold. First off, they're at their peak, right? So if you're at your peak, whatever that may be physically as a player, that's when you leave. Why? Because the money, even with NIL, is better at the professional level than it is at the at the college level. Yes, Marvin Harrison Jr. can make $5, $6, whatever, $7 million at Ohio State next year, but he can't necessarily get a $40 million guaranteed contract like being a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. That's why they leave. Someone that's playing for Kentucky right now may make $500,000 in NIL, drive a nice Benz and everything, but he can't get a guaranteed $20 million contract like he can do if he's an NBA draft lottery pick. It's the opposite for the WNBA. Coming out is no financial benefit at all. There's no benefit financially. There's no benefit commercially. There's no benefit exposure-wise. So there's no reason to leave early if you don't have to. This doesn't just apply to Caitlyn Clark. That's the age of Reese. It's going to apply to Juju. It applies to any young lady right now that's killing it in college basketball. Stay there. Make your money. Be on the SI cover. Go to all of the parties. Hell, if I was Olivia Dunn, I'd be trying to figure out how to stay at LSU gymnastics like I was Stetson Bennett. Stay in college as long as you can. That's your promotion. That is your promotion. Leave only when you have to. And I rest my case. You can either agree or you can disagree. But remember, I always come to you with facts, not feelings. Shout out to the IBFP. One last thing before I get out of here. I'm sure you saw Cam Newton beat up 7, now that we found out that grown men beat up 7 grown men at a 7-on-7 tournament. And I just have to say this. And if you're Caucasian and you're watching this, you can go ahead and turn off, but make sure you like and subscribe before you do. But it's really for my people. Like, we got to do better. I mean, I don't know what else to say. My uncle, he told me, and I've told this story 1,000 times. That when you walk out the door in this society, United States of America, as a black man, a black woman, you're down 14-0. Right when you walk out the door, you're working from a deficit. Doesn't mean you can't win. Just means you're working from a deficit. A lot of times, unfortunately, we compound our own deficit. And to use it in sports terms, we turn over the ball a lot. We make our own mistakes. We add on to a deficit that we already have. And when it's not just this situation. I just seeing us argue with each other, talk bad about each other, fight each other, kill each other. It just seems like if we were playing a game, the other team doesn't have to do much. They already want us to lose. But we just doing more. We're turning the ball over. We're dropping passes. We're missing assignments. Now it's 35-0, and they didn't have to do anything. Now we're in a bigger hole. I see. It is probably because I'm just getting older. When you get older, your outlook on things is just different. And you see it when you're young, you're in your own type of world. When you're older, then you look back and you see young people do things, and you just take a deep breath and you pray. Because they don't want us to win. They want us to lose. And we're helping them often with the way that we act, the things that we do, how we hold ourselves, how we don't hold ourselves accountable. And that's sad. I see these grown men on the media tour talking about Cam and money and this, and it just makes me shake my head in sadness. It's one thing when they were kids, like when you thought they were kids. These grown men fighting at a kid's 7-on-7 camp. Grown black men. You see black man shooting another black man at a youth football thing. You see all of these things, and you're like, we have to do better. We have to do better. We already are fighting from behind. Every day you see some weird racism stuff against us. You see the way they talk about us. You see the way that they do it. You see the way they manipulate the laws around us. Don't help them. Don't make it easier for them. Let's try to do better. That's my PSA for today. Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, getting old, man. The older you get, the more you reflect, the more those pictures of your life start flashing in your head, and you're making sure that I do more. You get to a certain age, like I do more good than I did bad. Nobody's perfect. Nobody does everything correct. But you just start to wonder. And then you start to wonder, what can I do to help? What can I do to make this better? And if you have kids, for them, this generation that's coming up. Hopefully we try to do better. Until the next time, this is Headlines with Robert Littal.